Hey everyone, welcome back to Projects with Paul. Today is the first day of fall. It's a beautiful day. I thought I'd get outside and do a little project, something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I'm going to build a ballast box. So I got some materials put together here. I got this old metal shelf, pretty thick stuff. A couple of heavy wall fence pipes, 3-inch diameter on this one, and some scrap fittings that I found in the scrap bin. I already have a 7/8 inch hole in them for the rear pins on the 3-point hitch. So I'm going to cut this up, the shelf, into pieces, fit them together to make the box, the ballast box. I'm actually going to cut, I've got several of these pipes my neighbor gave me. I'm going to cut them into lengths, and these are actually going to become the back wall of the ballast box, and they'll double as places to put shovels and rakes and axe handles or whatever slid down in there, and I'll put caps on the bottoms of them. So I'm going to start cutting. I've only got enough shelving here to do a front, 2 sides, and a bottom, and like I said, I'm going to cut the tubing into pieces and make it the back wall. So, and then we'll get everything welded together and get it filled with concrete and see how it works. Alright, I got the shelf cut up into the pieces, the sizes that I wanted, and I started clamping it together just to see how it's going to look. And so far it's pretty good. It's about 21 inches tall, 16 inches deep, and 21 inches wide. So it should hold enough concrete. Plus I'm going to have some more steel and stuff welded onto it. Just cleaning up the edges, getting the paint off where I'm going to tack it together. And I know it's not going to be watertight when I get it welded, but what I'll do is I'll just go on the inside on the corners, and I'll get some good caulking and just caulk it all up so the concrete don't seep out while I fill it up. So I'm going to get the welder fired up and get this thing tacked together, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, I got the walls tacked in, welded in. I pretty much welded them in. It's working out pretty good so far. I think it's going to be plenty strong enough. Getting some good penetration there. That's coming through from the other side. It's probably 16 gauge, so it welds up pretty nice. Gonna be a nice little box. By the way, this magnetic ground clamp is working out really well. I like it so far. No issues. Alright, I still need to cut the pipes. Like I said, the pipes are going to go across the back wall since I'm out of material. So, and I do have a 2-inch receiver I'm going to put in here somehow. Maybe on the bottom. I'm not sure yet. So, kind of shooting from the hip here. Just figuring it out as we go along. So, get back to work, and I'll give you an update. Okay, here's where we're at. I got these 4 pipes tacked in pretty good. I cut these 2 end ones longer. They're going to serve as legs, some 4-inch legs hanging down, so I can pick this up with the forklift if I have to. And I'll still have 4 tool holders, and then I found this piece of sheet metal out in my other shed. I'm going to use that to close in this gap here, and I'm going to run a big piece of angle across the bottom here to stiffen it up, and it's also going to be used as a cap to cap these 2, and I'll just have to do something different here. But I got this crusty old piece of heavy angle iron, and it's pretty rusty, but there's a lot of structural life left in this thing. I'll just go over there with my grinder and clean all that scale off of it. It'll be fine. Plus it's good and heavy. Remember, we want to add as much weight to this thing as possible. But I think it's going to hold a pretty good bit of concrete. I haven't done the math on it yet. Pretty good size. So let me get some more metal cut, and we'll get it tacked in place and show you where we're at. Okay, I got that flat piece of sheet metal cut, and I scored this mark here, and I'm gonna fold this over so it has a nice round edge, and it's also makes it a little stiffer because that'll be an exposed edge. So bend that over, weld it, and see how it looks. And I got this crusty old angle cut and got all the scale knocked off of it. It's not bad. I'll get some paint on there, especially on the inside before I weld it in. I'll paint the inside, slow down the rust process. And that blocks off those two pipes, so when you slide a shovel rake in, it doesn't go all the way through. Have to do something else here. So that piece of sheet metal, it'll slide up underneath this, and everything will get welded in nice and solid. And I have this receiver hitch tube that I'm gonna probably weld on, something like that. I love these receivers. You can buy these for like, I want to say this was like 18 bucks at Harbor Freight, and it's like 16 inches long. Just I put receivers on everything. You never know when you need a hitch. Alright, I'm gonna go get this piece of metal folded over and get back at it. Alright, I got it flipped over here. I got the receiver hitch welded on. I got all 4 legs welded and capped. These are some little stainless pieces that I had in my toolbox. Just in case you didn't know, stainless and steel will weld together with a MIG welder using steel wire. And it'd be good because those will be sitting on the ground when it's not in use. Those won't rust. So yeah, got the hitch tied in. This big thick plate in the back which ties into the box. Coming along pretty good. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over and put that back panel in. I got it cut and just laying up there. It's ready to go in. And then I can put the side brackets on for the lower pins, and I still have to make something for the upper pins. So let me get that going, and we'll give you an update. Alright, I put a little black paint on the bottom there, just to help keep it from rusting. I got the bottom welded in pretty well. Everything's tied in real nice. And I just welded on these brackets that are going to hold the pins that go to the 3-point hitch. And I was lucky those already had a 7/8 inch hole in them. I got those burned in good. Alright, I'm going to stand it up and work on the top, let's see, what do you call it, top bracket for the drawing a blank here, the top link pin, yeah. So I got to make some brackets for the top link pin. So let me get it stood up and we'll see what we got to work with. stitch thin metal together. Just a little bit at a time. Take your time and it keeps it from blowing through. Works good on this thin sheet metal. Alright, I got the upper pin mount welded in, and it's hot. Got that pin fitting good in there. Gotta use the rest of this round tube that I made the front legs out of. I used it for a cross piece, and it goes up under this lip. And then I got this little short piece of 2-inch square tubing. And I got it all tied in really nice. This is all scrap material, stuff that was laying around, or neighbor gave me some of it. Some of it came out of scrap bin. But I'm kind of waiting. I still got that metal back piece to put in, but I'm gonna get in there with my caulking gun and caulk up. I can get in there a little easier without that in. And so I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up. Tomorrow we'll go get some concrete. We'll get the pins for here, the category 1 pins, which are 7/8 inch diameter. We're good up here because that stays with the top link. And we'll get another tube of caulk and we'll get it caulked up and weld in that back panel. And I think we can fill it up with concrete and try it out. I got to weld it across the top there on that. Yeah, so far I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's turning out really nice. And I can always add stuff to it. Because it's all steel, I can weld stuff to it later on if I might want to add some D-rings or some hooks, or, you know, I think I do want to put like a center hook here if I needed to pick it up with a chain or something, with an eyelet, if I couldn't get it with a forklift. But I have it high enough off the ground where I can pick it up with the forklift. So yeah, we'll get some materials and we'll get back on it tomorrow. Alright, I'm finally done welding this thing. I sealed up the inside with some fire seal caulking. It's supposed to expand just a little bit, so got that all sealed up. I put this ring here, for lack of a better word, pretty much in the center in case I need to pick it up with a chain if I can't get to it, or for whatever reason, just another option. I can put a shackle on here and pick it up. And I tied that in with a rebar all the way to the bottom, welded that in. I went ahead and welded up all the seams all the way around. I think I showed you this already. I got that center link pin in, and I got the back panel on and went ahead and welded it solid. I did run out of welding wire right there, so I'm not going to sweat it. It'll be fine. So yeah, I'm going to take it out here in the yard and hit it with a big wire wheel and get some paint on it. And then we're going to start mixing up some concrete and get it filled up. I got 9 60-pound bags. I think that's what I figured it'll fit. So we'll see. But it's looking pretty good. It's turned out better than expected, so let's get it painted. All right, we're mixing up concrete. I got 1, 2, 3, I got 5 bags in there so far. Just mixing it in a 5-gallon bucket using a big 1/2-inch drill with one of these things on the end. Works really well. Makes it so much easier than trying to use a shovel or a hoe or something. All right, she is filled with concrete. That was 9 60-pound bags, and I shoved a couple of heavy landscape blocks down in there to get the height that I needed. If I'd have had one more bag, probably would have been perfect. So, got the new pins on there. I'm gonna let it dry overnight before I pick it up. Got it fairly level, so I don't want to slosh it around any. That turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Give me a shackle and put on there. If I need to pick it up with a chain or something, or set it somewhere, set it on the truck. If I don't have the forks, I can use the bucket with the hooks maybe. I'm pretty pleased with that. Alright, I think I'm going to wrap this video up. Thanks again for watching Projects with Paul, and we'll see you next time.